Hey, good morning or good afternoon, whatever time this podcast is finding you at. This is my wake up podcast. You are not tired, you're just uninspired, and I am here to help you. I am the creator and founder of Life Minded and Free. I am focused on helping women who are unfulfilled live above mediocrity and create a life of their wildest dreams, because you can have financial and time freedom. You can have a good marriage. You can have a good relationship with your kids. You can have a good faith, a good health. And I'm here to show you how not only I did it, but how I was able to teach thousands of other women to do the same thing. So welcome to the show. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Okay, so I am really excited to be doing this call today because, as you guys know, Fridays are open Q&A for anyone. So I just decided to open up these calls so people can get on live, because I realized that after someone starts going through my teachings, they enroll in my course, they subscribe to my stuff, they start listening to my podcast, start applying these things to your life. I noticed one thing that people need so badly is the community of other people that believe and use the same ideas, and they have the same priorities and the same goals, and everyone is looking to brand themselves, market themselves better, grow their mindset, figure out their calling, and go for it. And so that is what we encompass here in this community and on these podcasts and on these videos, because it's the community that everybody needs. And that's why I know that it's such a strong, awesome community, because it wasn't like we were like, okay, let's create this. And like, we didn't create this first. This just happened because we all came together because we needed to be together. And I have been connecting with so many more amazing people, like all of us who get on here live. It's so crazy that when you're not in contact with your ideal person on a daily basis, like, I'm not just talking posting content and talking to them, I'm saying like you're actually talking one-on-one with your ideal person. That's why booking discovery calls on your calendar are like the best free offer you can offer if you are in a niche where you can do that, because you get to talk to your person in pain, and every day you get to hear them talk about their frustrations. And so it's always in the forefront of your mind, and you always feel equipped, like, I can help this person. And you're like, this person is out there and needs me. So it's really easy to keep showing up every day when you're 100% confident that they're out there, they're listening, and they need it. And that is true in every single person's case. I don't care what your brand is that you're creating. I don't care how specific it is. If it is only talking to 0.5% of people in the entire world, you will save people's lives. You will impact people. You will get people out of depression. You will get people to have better marriages. You will have people living happier, healthier lives because of the impact that you gave to them. Every single niche needs that. And so if you believe in it, then they're going to be receiving it, but you don't know that firsthand. So it's easy to like forget that that's what we're doing. And then for your mind to start playing tricks on you of like, I don't know, am I really helping people? Is this like really making a difference? Because you're not connected to your audience. And so I am connected through discovery calls. And what I've been noticing is all of these people feel like they're by themselves. And I am like, oh my gosh, you are not by yourself. Like, you need to meet my friends. Like, that's what I keep saying. I'm like, oh, there's a whole group of us. It's not just me. There's a whole group of us that believe this way. And they're like, what? There is like, it's like the hope of, wait a second, I'm not alone on this island. I'm not crazy thinking there has to be a better way to attract people and sell online. And so the calls have become this staple in all of our lives. We've said that. Like, I was telling someone earlier today, I was telling Cammie, I'm like, I think I'm going to take some time off around Christmas and like not do the calls and stuff. And then as I was saying it, I was like, no, I probably won't do that. I think that's a terrible idea. Actually, now that I say that, I think that we should do more calls because we're probably going to need it. But Mondays, we talk all on mindset. If you get on live, I do now have a function. If you click the link in my bio on Instagram, it's just at Taryn Sarconi. Click the link in my bio and you can click the wake up calls. It's under my freebies section. And you can click the link to that, fill out your information, and you'll get an email with this Zoom information, and you can join us whenever you want to. Mondays, we talk live about mindset. Wednesdays, we talk all about branding. We learn new things about branding and different things, from what hashtags should you be using and what your page should look like and what your content should be and how many reels you should post and how to do cool transitions with reels and how to make your page stand out and tricks with polls and stickers and audio and all of that. We hear that on Wednesdays. And then Friday is live Q&A, where you can come on and unmute yourself and ask any question that you have to be able to get your questions answered. Because when someone's done with my course, they're like, well, wait a second. This is all great. My insights have shown that my account has just exploded. I just posted in my stories this morning. I had a girl who sent me a screenshot. She said, just from making a couple of changes that you told me to make, I'm not even done with the course, but check this out. And it was a screenshot of her insights, and her account has increased 8,166% from this time last month. She's like, I think it's working. I was like, I would say it probably looks like it's working. But now she's like, okay, but this can't be over. Like, I still need you. I still have questions for you. And so that's why I've opened up the community to anyone who is with my teachings, not just a customer of mine where you're paying for the course. If you take advantage of my hundreds of hours of free training on my YouTube channel or my podcast channel, you are one of the students here. You can be in the community for free. I'm not trying to make some sort of like monthly subscription or anything. The reason for this is I want to bring like-minded people together so that we all feel like this is so much bigger than ourselves. We all can do this. We all can inspire each other. Like, look at this person, she's launching this, and looking at her, she's reading this book, and this person said this. And I really want to do that. And we have a soul revival that we're planning, because I want to take this whole community a step further. And now that I'm connecting with everyone on the phone and through Zoom and building up this community, my heart is aching because I miss the community that I built in network marketing. That community was so amazing, and it felt so good to all be together. Like, how cool was it when we could all go sit in the hot tub, or we're like out by the fire and we travel together, and like, oh my gosh, because people in our worlds that we're in our communities just aren't like us. We kind of like stand out when we're out in the world, and we think a little bit differently than the majority of people, and we have bigger goals than the majority of people, and we have these like crazy ideas. So I don't want anyone to ever think, oh, that's so crazy, oh my gosh, that could never happen, just because nobody in your circle has ever done that. Because let me tell you, the circles that are out there that I've experienced are insane. When I first joined this industry, I remember someone telling me that she made $30,000 a month, and I just didn't believe it. I was like, there is no way that someone is making $30,000 a month. Like, there is no way. Like, nobody makes that besides like celebrities and drug dealers. I'm like, no way. 30,000, that's like how much I make a year. Like, are you serious? Total, that's not going to work. And then now I was just journaling the other day about 8 figures. What? Like, going past 7 figures now, talking about 8 figures, because I believe it and I see it working. And I see that I know people that are doing similar things to what I'm trying to do, showing up online, that are selling $2 million a year in their courses, that are selling $4 million a year. Like, I know that I can do that. I know that there's a need. I know that. But if my circle was really small and I was in my hometown of tiny town, farm town, where all my neighbors are farmers in Michigan, living on a dead end dirt road my whole life, like I would never have thought that I could do anything incredible, even though God has been screaming at me, not screaming. He's been talking. True power doesn't have to yell, but he's been talking to me very directly since I was a little kid, telling me this. But I didn't believe it because the world robbed me of that. And the world told me that I was just average, and the world, came down on me. So that's the point of the community. If you want to ask your questions, Fridays, get on. You can unmute yourself and ask anything about what we talk about. And also, this isn't just Taryn's advice corner. This is anyone who has feedback or anyone who asks questions. Please feel free to unmute and to all kind of work together to help each other and ask questions and things like that. So Terry, we talked to you a couple recordings ago, and it was a podcast that I recorded. It was called, Are You Catfishing Your Followers? And I've had so many people message me and say that that podcast really spoke to them. So I'm glad I posted it, because I was like going back and forth if I should. But Terry got really vulnerable and open and raw and was talking a lot about her brand. And so if you didn't watch that podcast, go listen to it, because it's a really good preface to this one. But Terry, you've had a lot of clarity lately with your brand. Like your brand like totally took a 180. We found that out. You were showing up online, helping women who are diagnosed with life-altering diseases and illnesses. You were wanting to build a brand that shows up to help them since you were diagnosed and it was a huge part of your life. But you recently had some clarity, and you now want to shift and start talking about scrapbooking. So this is like my favorite example, because they're so opposite of each other. But this is totally what happens in real life situations where you're creating some sort of brand because you're subconsciously like trying to lead people to a product you sell, where you're like tricking yourself, like, no, I could talk about this. Like, this is my story. Like, I could do this. And that's what I was doing too, is I'm like, I have these problems. So I was doing that. And I'm like, well, anxiety, depression, like people need supplements, they need hemp oil, they need, like, this is how I'm going to do it. But what happens when you do that is you can't truly turn up the microphone to like what you're passionate about, because you're focused over here, which isn't authentic and true in you. So it just feels kind of weird, and it's hard to create and everything. Like you can do it, but something's just off. Like, just doesn't feel like it's supposed to. Like, what's missing? So tell me now that you've done this with your brand and you've had this shift of like, I'm going to talk about scrapbooking. Obviously it was an old passion of yours since before, really long ago, and you've always been into it, and then you stopped, you kind of did this, and then now you're picking it back up. So where are you at right now in your brand, and kind of what do you feel like is the roadblock right now that you're coming to?
Right now I am working through your branding course again, because everything is shifting. And I'm struggling with my target market, because I know what I want to do, and I'm sure there are so many of you that all of your photos are in your phone. So where does that leave your kids when they're older and they want to show their kids what their childhood was like, what their Christmases were like? Look at this, I was in a concert. Well, if all of the pictures are on someone's phone, and God forbid something happens to that person, those photos are gone, and the kids are missing out. Before my grandmother passed away, it was when I owned a scrapbooking store, and she was really into it. She's the one that taught me everything about crafting. She was just so very crafty. But I said to her, I wish you would make me a scrapbook that's a journey of your life, because she had such an amazing life, because she literally, her mom died giving birth to her. So she never knew her mom. And then she was in the system, and then she ended up with her mom's best friend and her husband. They adopted her and raised her. But when she was in the system, she lived in all these different places in our area. And now she went around all the places that she, my phone's distracting me, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I
All
love
of
that sound. When I heard it ring, I was like, wow, it's like so nostalgic, like to hear a phone ring. It sounds like an office phone, kind of like I haven't been in corporate world to hear that in a while. So it was
Right.
like nice.
All of the places that she lived when she was in the system, the houses are no longer there. But she went around to every place, the address where she was, and she took a picture of what was there now, or when she took the pictures. And then she literally wrote a story of her life, how she did all these
Oh,
different
I
things.
love that.
And so I have that scrapbook. And that just made it sink in more. So many people don't have that. They
Mhm.
don't know their history. They don't know how their parents or grandparents struggled or anything like that.
I know, I think
And
about that all the
so,
time.
yeah, and I just have always wanted to get the word out to people. Yes, you can have pictures on your phone, whatever, but make sure you're printing some of those pictures. Make sure you're leaving some of those pictures to leave your own legacy, to leave this heirloom to and your history to your kids, to your grandkids, to your great grandkids, so that
Mhm.
they can see what it was like and
Yeah.
all of
So
that.
now you have your why you're doing this. So what do you
Yes,
feel like is that next roadblock for you?
figuring out who I'm marketing to. It's like, because when I was thinking that my brand was going to be the fibromyalgia and all of that, I knew who I wanted to market to.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I don't know how to niche that down, because in my whole vision is to not only create these things for people, but to teach them how to create them themselves.
Okay.
So I have 5 classes right now scheduled with the adult ed program. I'm going to be teaching 2 in
Mhm.
February and 3 in March, of
So
different things.
so you're trying to, and this is so good. So number one is retaking the course or taking the course for the first time. The reason why the course is there is because I created it out of a need people had. Like talking to Terry and being like, I don't know my brand. I don't, and I'm like, oh, I have so much advice to give you. I have so many things you need to do. And so I put it all in one spot, and it's over 7 hours of information. So like 7 hours. That's why it's in a course. Like it's not really all over my Instagram because it's so much information, and you have to do step 1 before you can do step 2. You have to do step 2 before you can do step 3. So if you've already done the course, going back and redoing it is great, because you are going to learn that question, the answer to the question of who am I talking to? And whenever you're feeling like you're not clear on your brand, or that you're just not in alignment with something and you're kind of like, can't really put my finger on it, like, what is this? It always goes back to, well, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? If you do my free Instagram audit, again, I created it because people need this. You need to be able to fill out this Instagram audit and score yourself and see where you fall right now. And some of you have heard me talk about that and still haven't done it yourselves. And you have no idea how clear your message is and how straight your hose is, allowing customers to just flow right to you instead of hitting all these kinks and thinking you just need to turn up the water pressure. That's not going to unkink the hose. That's just going to burn you out and overwhelm you. The answer is never, I need to work more. I need to do more. I need to try. The answer is, hold on. I need to slow down, go back, go to the very beginning. Big successes are all little tiny things strung together. You're doing the little things right, which are equaling bigger things. And so for you, answering the question, who am I talking to, is the most important question that you have to answer yourself. Because if we don't know exactly who we're talking to, you're not talking to anybody. Nobody. Because nobody is understanding what you're saying. Nobody feels drawn to you. No one feels connected to you. And they might be like, oh, she's cute, like, or like, oh, that's a cute message, like, but you're never going to go viral. Your algorithms are never going to be super high because Instagram isn't seeing you as someone that people are interacting with and then going to their page and then following them and liking other stuff and then going back. Because when people do that, that Instagram is like, oh, people like this person. She's relatable. We need to show her stuff to more people because we want more people to be on the platform. If you got on Instagram and you were watching all these dead end, dumb reels all day where you didn't understand any of them, like when my husband had Instagram, I would go on there and I'm like, what are you even on here for? Like all this stuff is so boring. Like this isn't even like anything that I'm interested in because it's not what I'm interested in. You know, so it really matters by going viral because then people click on your page, they see you, and within 3 seconds, they're like, oh, yep, totally follow. And then they follow more things. I love that. April says, me and DP swapped TikToks before. It was so funny how terrible it was. And he probably thought the exact same thing about yours. He was probably like, this
Oh my
is
gosh.
horrible.
His is like so boring. And then he watches mine. He's like, why do you watch all this sad stuff? I'm like, it's not sad. They're like happy stories. And he's like, they're really sad. Like, no wonder you're depressed. No, I'm just
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But what?
when you're talking about like staying consistent and like talking to your target person, I think of like speaking a different language. So like some of your posts are like in English, and then like you have a couple like Spanish, and then maybe like a French one, you know? And so your algorithm's like, okay, who we going to here?
Uh-huh. That's exactly what you're doing. And that is the number one mistake I see people making is they're showing up online. And I can tell within 1 second when I click on your account, I literally have one Mississippi. I'm done. I already glanced at it. I already know your problem. Like, not kidding. And my favorite ones are people that are acting like they're experts in an area. Like you're acting like your brand is so strong. This is the catfishing. This is it. Where like you have all this confidence, like where people are like branding coach, helping you attract your ideal people. And then I look and I'm like, oh my gosh, your Instagram is so bad. Like you have all different random highlights. You have no branding colors. You have no consistent font. Your profile picture isn't something that it should be. Your posts don't make any sense. You're posting all different kinds of stuff. And then you like throw up your link tree and you're like, collab here. No, like that, you can't trick it. Like you have to know what you're doing. So yes, you do need confidence before you jump in. Like, I'm just going to fake it till I make it. But you have to know what you're doing. And let me just tell you, if you've never invested in your brand, or you've never, and I'm not just talking money, but invested time, learning about branding yourself, your brand sucks. Like, sorry, that's so strong and harsh to say, but it does. And nobody is being attracted to you. So sending out cold messages of, hey, I think that you would be a great fit for my new athleisure wear. Like that doesn't work. That will never work again. It might have worked when it first came out. It's not going to work now. Nobody wants to buy your stuff. They don't want to buy it that way. Just like when I walk in the buckle, I don't want to have bedazzled jeans shoved down my throat. Like I want to casually walk over and pick out the jean that I like. We all are like that. We all are. So that's why it's so important. Like take the time. I've said it before that if you open the McDonald's franchise, the first step isn't standing outside yelling cheeseburgers for sale. You have a lot of work to do before you can start selling cheeseburgers. And that's what I hate about network marketing is when people tell you to do that right away. Like, oh my gosh, you just joined my team. Okay, make a post today and say, oh my gosh, I just did something totally crazy. And I can't even believe that I'm saying this, but stay tuned. I'm going to tell you on Sunday. And then Sunday, you're like, I can't wait. Oh my gosh, I did it. I jumped on the Plexus train. I like actually said this when I joined my first company. I have it came up on my timeline. I'm like, I joined the Plexus train. It literally was a picture of a pink train blowing pink smoke. And I was like, I jumped on the Plexus train. Choo choo. Here we go. If you want health and wellness products, DM me. You're not going to want to miss this on Tuesday. My friend so-and-so has this awesome story. You know what? That is never going to work. And you are setting up your brand new person to fall flat on their face. And after about 6 weeks, max. Anywhere from maybe 4 to 6 is really like the biggest spot where you're going to lose the people because their excitement wears off. And then you lose them because they're like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. And then you're like, oh, I suck. I'm such a bad leader. Oh my gosh, this isn't working. What am I going to do? Well, like, what did you think was going to happen?
This is what people do. Oh my gosh, she's either pregnant or joined a network marketing company. And then the second you announce that it's a network marketing company, oh my gosh. Oh, sorry, that was probably loud.
That's okay.
My car has like this weird thing. It like beeps if something's like too close to it, and it always does it for the curb. Anyways, so they're always like, she's pregnant or joined a network marketing company. And then when Monday or whatever day rolls around that you're like doing your announcement, like you can absolutely count on those people like not searching out your profile page because they're going to think that you just want to sell to them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially on Facebook, where network marketers go to die.
So it really is like so important. And that's why I'm always preaching it. I can see Instagram knows you can't trick it. You can tell when someone's stuff looks bad. If you don't know who you're talking to, that is the number one reason why you're failing. Right there, that's what it is. That is the most important question you need to ask yourself. You have to spend some time doing that. So in the course, it tells you that, Terry. So if you haven't gotten to that spot yet in the course, it will have you fill that out. I have a brand new module that I just put in there that I'm going to release as a freebie too. So that people can kind of do that on their own, like fill out their ideal person. And she's in the shape of a woman. Like she's so cute. Cami Murphy designed her for me and has some stuff on there. So the purpose of this is to write it all out on this picture and then print it out. I'm going to laminate mine because I want her to stay in perfect condition. And I'm going to tape it up right here in front of me on my window. And I'm going to stare at her every single time that I work. So I know this is the person I'm talking to. These are her struggles. These are her complaints. These are the desires in her heart. This is what she's crying over. This is what she's losing her crap over today. I want that to be in front of my face to know who I'm showing up to serve. Because when we scroll on Instagram, it's really easy to forget who our person is because we start comparing ourselves to other people and we start seeing things that other people made. And we're like, oh, well, I can do that post like that. And so you're not being authentic to you. And if you're not looking at your girl all the time, or your guy or your kid or whoever your ideal person is that you're trying to help, then you're never going to be able to just be consistently showing up for them because this is your brand. Okay, I want to teach people how to scrapbook. Okay, who are you teaching? Are they a woman? I'm sure, because I know your brand. So woman, how old are they? Are they a grandma leaving a legacy for their children? Are they children going in their parents' phone and taking pictures and making it for their parents for Christmas? Are they middle-aged women making them for their kids or making them for their parents? Like, who is it that's making it specifically? Why do they want to make this? Because you can be successful talking to all of those people that I talked about if that's the only person you're talking to. If your brand like Shutterfly, okay, they just want to help you make memories of everything. So that's why they're not just specific to one thing, because they're a big, huge corporate brand now and they can sell so many different things. That's what you can do eventually, because that's what a lot of people are like, well, I want to do all these. I do want to do all these different things. Well, you can eventually. Like for me, I want to teach people how to have the best marriage that you ever can, where you are literally like crying in tears because of how much you love this person that you're married to. When a couple of years ago, you wanted to divorce them. I want to teach people how to love their husbands like that and how to respect their husbands like that. I want to save marriages. I can't do it right now because right now I'm focused on this. This is what I'm focused on. I'm helping people create brands. I'm helping inspire people to go do that. So that will come, just like Tony Robbins started network marketing speaking. Do you guys know that? Like network marketing, showing up now, he's like total life coach. I shared before about Amazon. They were just an online library. Now, tons of stuff, tons of companies, tons of like, that's how it starts, but it starts small. It starts one thing. This is what we're doing. This is who we're talking to. And if you don't have clarity on that, don't post. You are better off letting your account just sit there for a week. Will you figure out your stuff and then show up online? Newsflash. I was going to post this. I was just thinking about this morning, actually. Newsflash, you don't have to show up on social media every single day. Every single day, never miss a day ever, so consistent, or you bomb the whole thing. I hate to say this, but you are not that important, where Instagram is like, oh my gosh, she didn't show up for a weekend. Forget her. She's irrelevant. We're not showing anyone her stuff anymore. And especially if you're in tune with who you are and who you're talking to, and you have some of those posts up like you have before, and you want to take some time off, you can do that. Look at like Britney Spears is literally like my favorite person to follow on Instagram because I just can't stop watching. It's like, you just can't stop watching. Go watch her if you haven't watched her, and you'll know why. I always like send April videos. I'm like, I just can't stop watching this. But she doesn't show up every day, and she doesn't even know how to use Instagram, but she has followers. She has engagement because she is who she is, and she attracts her people. There's a lot of haters of Britney Spears. I love Britney Spears. She's always been my favorite since a while, but she's like hot mess now, and that's okay. And so, if you truly are authentically you, people will come, and you can take some time off. You can. So whoever needs to hear that, just know this is your permission to take the weekend off. Like, put your phone down, figure out your stuff, and then show up and be back and be you and be there. So figuring out your person is your next step, Terry, because, you don't know exactly who you want to talk to. So do you have any idea how you're going to figure that out, or what you've already kind of started asking yourselves? Like there's multiple ones of you. Did you consult with all of yourselves and see what they thought? All of us agree. We're crazy.
Yes, this version of myself said I should do this, and this version of myself said I should do this. I think where I was struggling, and I know like you just said, I have to narrow it down. There are so many things that I want to do with it's all around paper. I want to do cards, and I want to do albums, and I want to do the scrapbook pages, and I want to do the 3D projects, and there's just so many things that I want to do, but I know I can't do it all at once, and I need to narrow that down. But my true focus, and this is how far I've gotten, is when I said I want the people to get their pictures off their phones. And my true focus is going to be creating the albums. And what's going to set mine apart is I'm actually creating the album cover, the page, everything. I create all of that from paper and chipboard. I don't buy a store-bought album.
You're like the
slide
real
the pages
deal.
in. I'm doing everything, yes. And
The real
so
deal.
I want to teach people how to do that in a mini version form, but I also want to offer the ones that are basically over the top, that people aren't going to want to put all of that time and effort in, but they can take that and just put their pictures in.
Okay.
And have a perfect thing.
Great point. Because not only is it who are you talking to, what stage of their life are they in this process that you're creating?
Right.
So like April sells makeup. At what stage is this person in makeup? She's now trying to figure out, because she's had some unclear thoughts and, okay, do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Her soul is always like, I want to teach people how to use Instagram. I really enjoy doing that. I really love doing that. But then now she's stuck with like, well, I sell makeup. So how do I merge the two together? and then was like, well, let me just merge them together and see what happens. And then she came back to the drawing board and was like, I didn't like that so much. Let me try to do this instead. And no, I don't like that. I'm realizing my followers don't like that. I don't think I like to do that. It's hard to create content. I'm not having as much fun. It's not as exciting. Then it's like, well, let me go back to the drawing board. Okay, let me figure this back out. And then now she's like, okay, I think I'm having some more clarity. I think, and then I was like, well, what do you, I'm like, I have some tips for you because I looked at your stuff. So I want to tell you the things that I see from an outsider. And she's like, well, I have some ideas for my own self too that I've been doing. I'm like, okay, tell me what they are. And she tells me, and they're the exact same things that I saw. Because by just trial and erroring it, like, okay, I'm going to put myself out there. That's why you can't just like stay in plan mode forever. Like, well, I'm not going to post until it's perfect. Guess what? It's never going to be perfect. Ever, 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 ever. Even if you have like a week of like, oh my gosh, I feel so clear. This is so good. My stuff is performing so well. I am so content with all of this. Like, this is great. I finally figured it out. All of a sudden you wake up one day and you're like, I don't like any of this. It's like, what? You just like love this all lousy. You're like, no, I think I want to change my brand. Like, that's okay. That is literally like, and all you guys just laugh because it's 100% what happens. If it doesn't happen to you, you're like probably in like the bottom 1%, like, or top 1%. Like, it happens to everyone. And so April's trying to figure this out, but now she's like, okay, I want to teach people how to use Instagram to sell their products, to grow their influence. Because once you know your brand, well, now you need to know Instagram, because your brand can be spot on. But if you don't know that you should be posting reels over posts, if you don't know that you should be using specific hashtags, if you don't know about specific softwares and times of day to post, you're not going to reach that many people. April's goal is to help you reach as many people as you possibly can by hacking Instagram and doing everything the right way that you're supposed to. But even with that, it's like, okay, now what stage is this person at in Instagram? Are they a brand new user where it's like, what's a highlight? You know, like someone like that, like brand new, like, what's a reel? How is that different than TikTok? Like, that person, there's a need for that. And so it's like, is April talking to that person? Is April talking to the person who's like, yeah, I've had Instagram for a while. I've never used it for business. I know like the general features of stuff, but like, I've never really like dove in to try to figure it out, because that's a whole group. Or is it someone on the more advanced end where it's like, yes, I know all the basic beginner things. I've been showing up. I've been posting. I need to know like how to like do more advanced things. Like, I want to do more transitions with my reels. And now I want to start posting 5 times a day, which is actually a thing. Okay. Like, I know it's crazy. So like, you move through this scale, but if April's giving content of this advanced person, showing all this advanced stuff, but she's speaking to a beginner, kink in the hose. Hold up a second. That is not going to work. So same with Alicia. Alicia's brand is helping women with health and fitness and nutrition and showing up for themselves and being the confident, best body that they're in, having a good mindset around food and working out and getting stronger. Now, are you talking to the person who has never had a regimen before ever, where they've never been able to show up for themselves for more than a week? Are you talking to someone who's like, yeah, I go to the gym pretty often. I eat okay, but I just need some more help? Or are you talking to someone that's like, yes, I've been going to the gym 5 times a week, or I've been working out 5 times a week. I eat pretty healthy. I want to get a little bit more specific over here, train for this, lose for this, tone for that. How she is speaking to the person at a different stage of their journey is so important, because again, if she's showing content for a beginner, but she's talking all about advanced stuff, there's a kink. It doesn't flow through. People are like, what? Okay. And confused people never do anything. If you confuse someone, all they do is leave. Nobody wants to be confused. And the second their brain can't make sense of like who you are or what you're doing, and it doesn't care, like you're scrolling on Instagram and there's thousands and thousands of stuff in your newsfeed and you're scrolling and you're like, oh, that is so relatable. Oh my gosh. Like, who is this? Click. Let me look at their profile. Oh, yeah, I don't know, back, and then you keep scrolling. But what you want to do, Instagram says it's less than 3 seconds. So when people click on it, it's like, oh, what? Oh my gosh, look at all this other relatable stuff. Wow, this is so good. Oh my gosh. Because they felt relation to it. And now they look at it and they can see that there's more where that came from. That's like the effect that you want to create, is the there's more where that came from effect. And it's just like growing up in life. Like, you have to make these mistakes on your own, because I can tell you over and over, if there's something you have always loved to do, like ways to know that your calling is your calling, is you've always wanted to do it. You've always talked about it. You've always loved it. Ever since I can remember, I wanted to write a book. I loved to scrapbook. I knew I was going to have a bunch of kids. These things that we've always known, like our intuition, like, I don't know, but I just always knew I was going to be a doctor. I always knew that I would drive that car. I always knew I would live in Florida. I've always said, you know what, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to buy my own horse farm. Like, we have these dreams and these things that have been in us for so long, and the world has just beat them out of you. And you need to be loving of yourself enough to like let them come back in. Like, working on who you are is so important, and is the first layer of this. Like, this whole branding thing is a layer. The very first layer on the outside is, who even am I? Not this version that I put on to please people, or this poor boundary setting, out of control, angry mom. No, who are you really? And you can't say, well, I'm a mom and I'm a wife and I have 2 dogs. And no, that is not who you are. Like, that is not who you are. Who are you? What are the desires in your heart? What are your pain points? If you have a hard time figuring out who your ideal person is, a little spoiler alert is that it probably is who you used to be. That's usually the brand that we create. We create this brand out of a frustration we've personally felt. And then it's like, oh, well, like you, Terry, I'm doing scrapbooking. I'm realizing like nobody knows how to do this. It comes so naturally to me. And this is so fun to me. Like, more people need to know how to do this, because if they don't, they're going to lose out on their history. They're going to lose out. Like, you can put that together, because you saw like that was a pain that you experienced, that you were like, people need to do this. Or for Alicia, like, I'm going to create this mindset reset that she's doing starting on Monday. If you want to join it, it's her username, her handle on Instagram is at Alicia, ELISHA dot, you changed it? Alicia _ OGG, ELISHA _ OGG.
No, just ELI _ OGG.
Okay, that's confusing.
I
ELI, it's not really.
Just thinking about that, I'm like, I need to change my handle.
Okay, so she might change it, so then you won't be able to find her. No, you can always just send me a message on Instagram too, and I'll just shoot you Alicia's stuff. If there's anything I ever say or mention that you're like, what did she say? Who was that talked? I want to know more, whatever. You can always just message me and we will connect you with the right people. So right now it's at ELI _ OGG. And it's a free 7-day mindset reset on your nutrition and your health and your fitness. And I cannot wait, because I need it so bad. But so just like she has decided to do that. But I do want to open it up for the last 15 minutes. And I want to hear other people's questions on where your biggest roadblock is right now, your number one thing causing you pain, the number one thing you don't have clarity on, the number one thing you're confused on, any of those things. Who wants to talk? All together now.
I know. I don't necessarily have a roadblock at this moment, but the engagement portion of I do want to talk about the engagement portion of showing up, or what happens, like what you were talking about earlier. Because I was looking at since I've started promoting this program, my 7-day healthy habits and mindset reset challenge, that's starting on Monday. I have been literally showing up like multiple times per day on my social media, and it has made such a huge difference in the engagement of, like new followers, people interacting with my posts, interacting with my stories. Like I woke up this morning and had somebody not join my challenge, but actually request my freebie from my website, which is my my meal prep for beginners. So, but I got their information, and so I'm going to also send them an email, introducing them to the challenge too. So, I can automatically see, and it's only been since Monday, right, that I have really just been showing up. And I was actually looking at my insights on Instagram.
Cool.
And
it's Friday. Like it's just been since Monday, and you can see that right away. I love that you can see results so quickly if you know who you're talking to and you keep showing up consistently. The results don't take that long to see.
No, my engagement in the last 7 days, my accounts reached has been up 45%.
Wow.
And engagement up 215% in the last.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Crazy, right? I haven't gained that many more followers, but the engagement, and I'm always, I don't know, I think that people are always like, well, for me, I'm always looking at my followers, but then I forget that that's not really what's important. Like you can have a bazillion people following you, but if nobody's engaging with your stuff, then it doesn't even matter. And so I'm always looking at my followers, but I sometimes forget to look at my insights. And so this morning I looked at that and I was like, oh my gosh, that's insane.
I love looking at insights because it takes all of the emotion out of it. You can't just say I feel like my account is doing better, or I feel like my account is doing bad, because sometimes people, actually a lot of times, especially if you're really hard on yourself, your account is never going to feel good. You need to look at insights, and that will tell you for sure if it's working. And then you're like, oh, okay, it's science. It's black and white. It's right there. It's yes or no. You can see it has nothing to do with emotions that change every 2 seconds. It's the best way to tell if something is working. That is so great. And so it's been a week that you've been showing up and talking about what you're promoting and who you're talking to. That's great. Now, once you have this figured out and you're like, okay, I'm ready. It's all figured out. It's all planned. Okay, I'm ready to put it into action. I'm ready to start posting. And that might take a minute to get ready. You might just not know. Actually, you probably will not know why you're not ready. You'll just feel like you're not ready. And then all of a sudden you'll wake up and you'll just be ready and start doing it. I'm doing it today. Here we go. I'm doing it right now. It'll just feel right and you'll do it. So don't beat yourself up if you're not ready to start showing up consistently, because you will be. But once you're okay, here I am. I have my message. I have my person. I have my content. I'm showing up. You're following April. She's telling you everything you need to be doing. The best thing that I recommend doing is start a 30-day Reels challenge, because it's 30 days of Reels, which are the #1 thing that are engaging with people right now. Instagram is really highly favoring people that use Reels because that's the platform they want to create. So they're incentivizing a lot of creators. I've made a couple $100 the last 2 months from Instagram from posting Reels, which is really cool. So, it's this big, huge thing. Now you want to do that because it's going to push your stuff in front of as many people as possible, and to show up for 30 days consistently like that right out of the gate is awesome. Is really, really, really great. Now, if you absolutely can't post Reels and you're like, no way, I hate how I look, I am not creative, I don't want to do it, whatever, you have all these things. #1, you need to just get over it, get over yourself. Just get over it. Nobody cares as much as you think they do. Nobody is looking at you thinking, oh my gosh, she is so ugly. She is so fat. Look at all her acne. Look at all her wrinkles. Look at her flat hair. Look at how bad her background is. Look at her bad lighting. I've seen people go viral that have dirty houses and bad lighting and all of it, and they're viral. Like, it does not matter as much as you think it does. Get over yourself. But number two, if you're not ready to get over yourself and you're like, Taryn, I promise, just not yet. Whatever, that's fine. You know, we all have to get over it in our own time. So if you're not ready, just start showing up with posts and carousels. Carousels are basically like mini slideshows. What is the point you're trying to get across? Put it through up to 10 slides and educate your audience about what you're doing. You can share your story. Hi, I'm Terry. Swipe. Ever since I can remember, I loved to scrapbook. Swipe. What I noticed is this. Swipe. What I noticed is that. Swipe. So I created swipe. You can see, and it's your story. You can also share with people, this is how I make a scrapbook in less than 10 minutes. This is how I show pages. This is where I buy all my products from. This is how I have my spot set up. This is my top tips that I have for you. And you can educate through your carousels and through your posts. Use your own quotes, use other people's quotes. You can repost other people's stuff. Like, you know, all of that is still so important. It's not like, well, if you're not posting reels, that you might as well get off of Instagram, because you can slowly go into it. Yes, April. Would love to hear what you have to say on this topic.
Okay, one, I was gonna say, you don't necessarily have to show your face on reels. I feel like it helps a lot if you do, but you don't necessarily, there's ways you don't have to. And number two, coming from someone who was absolutely terrified even to get on a Zoom call where I didn't have to talk, like I didn't even want to show my face. I just wanted to stay like a black square and that's it. But if you're nervous about something, it's probably exactly what you need to do to grow. And it's not a good feeling, but like once you work through that and then you see the results, it's so rewarding. And there's something else I was gonna say. I always get like so excited to say what I was gonna say and then I forget like what I was gonna say.
Because you're so excited to be talking on here.
I'm like, don't forget, and then I forget. But it's like so rewarding after you go through it. And then like I learned so much from my first 30-day reels challenge, because I gravitated towards what was comfortable for me, and then I could go back and like assess. But the growth that came from it was like outrageous. She's like, let me think what I was gonna say. But yeah, coming from somebody that was absolutely terrified, like going live on my Facebook for the first time, like I didn't even know what I said. I was shaking. It was like outrageous. But oh, this is what I was gonna say. You, Taryn, you told me a long time ago, you said like the best like hard advice that like that's ever been given to me. You said, if you don't like that about yourself, go fix it. Because I was like, oh, I just feel like I look so fat, and like I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel
it's like really loud, whatever you're doing. We can't really hear. Okay. I was like, I'm not sure if like you're dropping the phone in the pot. But it's because you have your headphones in. Headphones always make it everything else super, super loud. If I'm talking on the phone with my mom and she has her Bluetooth headphones in and she's like eating anything, I'm like, can you please stop eating like that in the phone? That is so loud. She's like, oh my gosh, it is. I don't even feel like it's loud. I'm like, it is like the loudest thing. I can hear every single thing. But it's because it like makes it super echoey like around you. So, okay, finish what you were saying.
I'm sorry. Just grabbing silverware out of the dishwasher, like forks and knives. But
oh my gosh.
I was saying, so being uncomfortable is like the best thing for growth. And coming from someone who couldn't get on a Zoom, I feel like where you don't want to do something, you should do it. And then that's where you're going to experience the most growth. Oh my God, did I really just forget what I was going to say again?
It's okay. It's surprisingly not one of those days for me yet, but you guys know that's like every day of my life. I am always just talking to John and then I'm like, And then he just like picks up where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like all of a sudden my brain just dies out for a second. I feel like it like sparks a little. Like short, there's a shortage. Well, I just can't tell you guys enough how important it is for you to truly have your person written down of exactly who you're talking to. And if it doesn't feel good, it's because it's not in alignment with who you truly want to talk to and give value to. Like it's not. April remembered what she was gonna say.
Oh, I love how you like read that hand signal.
Hurry
Okay,
up before you forget.
this is what you told me so long ago. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous about like looking this way and like I'm overweight and whatever. And like it's like a hard truth, but like if you don't like it, fix it. So like do the thing, whatever you don't like about yourself, start fixing it. And you know what? Once you start fixing it, you'll feel better about yourself anyway. You know, before I even started seeing any weight loss, I felt better about myself because I was working on it. And honestly, from experience, I know that like people don't see what you see. Like we are our worst critic. I know that's like you've read that quote a million times, but like it's like honest to God truth. Nobody sees what you see. You pick out every single imperfection, and it almost makes it worse if you go live and you're like, oh my gosh, like don't worry about like my hair.
So much worse. Like
it looks so bad today.
Like, oh, I look like a mess today. Sorry, I look bad again. Yeah. It's like you literally can control that. But you also can control that. So like if you feel like you look bad every time you go live, then start getting yourself ready. Do the things that change. Like I love that. That's a really good tip because you're not a tree. You don't have to stay in the body you're in. You don't have to stay in the place you're in. Like I was super self-conscious about my teeth. So I fixed it. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to save up money. I'm going to get Invisalign. I cannot stand how my teeth look. And so like, you can change that stuff. You're not like a like ungrateful person and you hate who you are because you want to make improvements. Like go do the thing that you want to do. And maybe you need to change. Maybe this is a message to someone that you need some change. Go dye your hair, go cut it, go get extensions, go get lashes, go, to the gym, go buy a new outfit, go do something so you feel like confident and excited and new and fresh. And it's almost the end of the year. Like, do something crazy. Do something super crazy. Send me your messages of super crazy things you're going to do. Everyone like shaves their head.
And I'm going to organize like a 30-day Reels challenge. That way we can do it all together. Like root each other on. Like it feels so much better. Even if it's a friend that comments like, yeah, girl, like to have like one person like at least comment on it, then you're not like, well.
Awesome. Yeah, let's do that. And then we can put it out there. We all can put links for it so we can advertise for it. That would be really cool. All right. Well, you guys have an amazing weekend. I love you all so much. It's Friday, which means the weekend is here. Get rid of some energy leaks, some things you've been putting off. I have like a list of people I need to call that I've been ignoring. So get your energy leaks list. Anything you need to organize. April, if you need to reorganize your cabinets from Emmy destroying them, you can do that too. Whatever has just been bothering you, weighing you down, work on it. Get it done. Get a plan for next week. Next week is a new week. If this week sucked, whatever, move on, find a different day and keep doing what you're doing because you're going to be so successful. You're going to feel so fulfilled and aligned and happy, and it's all going to start to work out. You're going to have clarity. You're going to have awesome ideas. You're going to be super creative once you get rid of all this junk and get this all crossed off your to-do list. So I love you guys. Thanks for being on live or listening, and I'll see you later. Bye. Thanks so much for listening. I hope that you enjoyed my wake-up call today. There's a few things that I want to mention before I let you go. One is if you haven't watched my #1 secret to 6 figures in network marketing, head on over to my Instagram, which is @life.minded, and click on the link in my bio. You can find that video there. It is phenomenal. Some of my favorite books, some of the biggest things that have changed my life in that industry. Another thing I wanted to mention is if you feel like I could add value to your life, go ahead and click on that link and book on my calendar a 30-minute discovery call. This is completely free and you'll get to know me a little bit better. You can ask me any questions you have and I can tell you what it would be like working with me one-on-one in a coaching program, or a little bit more about my branding course. My branding course can be found at mentoringthemasses.com. And that is a lifetime guarantee. You get lifetime access. And if at any point you are dissatisfied, you get 100% return on your investment. That's pretty great. And then don't forget to like and follow me over on Instagram and YouTube. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel and set it to have all of the alerts, you will get a notification on your phone every single time I post a new video. Thank you so much. Remember, I believe in you. I love you. Thank you for following me. God bless you.